I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic from which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I promise to do my best to treat everyone fairly. I promise to do my best to be kind to everyone, even though they're not like me. If I see someone being hurt or bullied, I will tell the teacher. Everyone should be able to feel safe and happy in school. I want our school to be no place for hate.
Did you know?
Do you know the shown? I am the studio habit of mind you use when you feel discouraged, but decide to keep trying anyway. That's right, that is engage and persist. Hello All-Stars, happy Wellness Wednesday. One of my favorite strategies for when my brain feels fuzzy or I have really strong emotions is to breathe. And I know you might be asking yourself, what is she talking about? We are always breathing, and that's true. But when we get really hijacked by our emotions, it's sometimes really hard to breathe well. So getting back to the breath is a good way to calm ourselves. So one of my favorite breathing strategies is called square breathing, where you breathe in, and you imagine a square, and then you're holding, and you breathe out, and you hold, and in, hold, out, hold, in again. So you imagine that square, you're breathing in, you're holding, you're breathing out, you're holding for a few seconds, and then in and hold and out and hold again. And you repeat however many times you need to. Usually 3 times really helps to get your brain back online where you can think a little more clearly. Hope that helps. Try it out this week.
We are so proud to acknowledge Ms. Love for working 10 years with Arlington Public Schools. You can see Ms. Love in our front office. Also celebrating 10 years is Ms. Fox, one of our librarian assistants. You might see her at recess or in the library. Congratulations! All-Stars, stay tuned after the news for updates on March Mammal Madness.
Peace out, All-Stars!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
It's time for round 1, tuxedo style of March Mammal Madness.
And look, thanks to Chloe in kindergarten, I have a new March Mammal Madness mascot. It's Madness. All right, friends, let's talk about round 1, tuxedo style. There are some really interesting things starting to happen to our bracket, which I must say is now involving almost 500 of us from Hoffen, Boston. I am so impressed. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for continuing to get me your brackets. It's still not too late. Okay, so let's talk about who's out. We had a big upset with Zorilla.
Bye-bye.
I know there are 7 All-Stars. It's really not a big upset yet. This is the biggest one we've had so far. 7 All-Stars. Zorilla is out. It tried its best to spray its opponent in the face. The winds blew back. It sprayed itself. This is just a reminder that in life, sometimes when you try to fight, it backfires on you, and it did for Zorilla. We also had 2 All-Stars lose their Moonrat.
Bye-bye.
And 2 All-Stars lose Delacour's Langur.
Bye-bye.
The polar bear also got hurt. So while it won the battle against the Eurasian water shrew, before the Eurasian water shrew was eliminated, it bit, and its venomous bite was on the polar bear's foot. So we'll see what happens to polar bear in the upcoming rounds. And with that, let's go to the brackets.
It sound right, boys.
All right, I'm sure you're ready for the recap. Let's hit it. It's March. It's mammal. It's madness.
It's that time of the year. We're talking about March Mammal Madness, and this is The Rundown. Bringing you all the highlights of the tournament, I am Lion, and I am joined by my co-host, Giraffe.
Great to be here, Lion, and it was an incredible night of first-round action in the Tuxedo Style Division. These are species with monochromatic coloration in shades of gray from whitest snow to darkest sable. And our special commentator for this Tuxedo Style Division, the carnivore that's an herbivore, the Bruin bringing bamboo to ruin, the Oso that's the mosto,
Hello, hello, hello. Excited to tell the evidence-based tales of real animal imaginary encounters. And forgive me for my occasional snack attacks. I gotta keep eating because I can barely digest my food.
Popping in with some poop science. Did you know that pandas poop over 30 times a day? Because they eat primarily plants, but they have the intestinal tract of a carnivore, they aren't able to digest all the plant material they eat. So it gets passed on through to the other side. This has been another segment of Talking Poop Talks Poop.
Pipe down, soft serve.
Ew. Moving on. Tonight's action begins on the ice floes of the Arctic North. Eastern spotted skunk was transported from the middle of the U.S. Midwest to the edge of the sea ice.
Skunk sees narwhal's tusk rising from the water. Is this a predator? Skunk thinks. Skunk does his "I'm gonna stink you up" handstand dance, but the narwhal's tusk keeps coming until narwhal's face is out of the water and next to the skunk. Skunk quickly flees this terrifying creature and much bigger combatant. Skunk eliminated!
Yes, another sea ice battle. It seems marine, ice, and snow environments really favor tuxedo-style adaptations. Tonight, ribbon seal approaches southern Tamandua, recently translocated from the Bolivian rainforest. In case this might be a lady looking for love. Tamandua does his stand-up, back-up move of defense, but accidentally backs off the ice floe and into the water. Tamandua eliminated.
Cloud rat is magically translocated from an island forest life in the Philippines to a mainland forest life in Southeast Asia. Climbing a couple feet up the trunk of a tree, Cloud rat encounters a nearby tapir om-nom-nomming on fallen fruit. But tapir has some other important business to do, marking her territory. Cloud rat is almost smooshed as tapir, with a mighty fine booty, backs that booty up to scent mark against Cloud rat's tree trunk. To escape the booty-crushing zone, Cloud rat climbs to the canopy and beyond the field of battle. Cloud rat eliminated!
In Etosha National Park, Nambia, mountain zebra is near a watering hole when white-faced capuchin arrives from Panama. Normally, keen to flee to the trees, in this desert there is no elevation to gain. But zebra is dropping down to the ground, rolling up a dust bath, sending capuchin fleeing from the melee. Capuchin eliminated.
Alright, now let's talk about some of the best animals in the division. The big bear and the big herbivores. When translocated to water near the sea ice, water shrew swam frantically toward the ice shelf, but polar bear, also hauling out of the seawater, unintentionally begins to crush the water shrew. The water shrew, in his final death throes, slashes his tiny red-tipped teeth with venomous saliva into polar bear. So water shrew is eliminated, but it remains to be learned what will become of the polar bear. Wild yak is eating some lichen in a high-elevation alpine meadow of the Tibetan Plateau, when Zorilla, also known as the striped polecat, is translocated into the scene. Wild yak ignores the Zorilla threat call, so our stripy stinkmaster turns his back, lifts his tail, shrieks loudly. Zorilla sprays fluids from his anal glands at the yak, but a Himalayan wind blows the spray back on Zorilla. Hoisted on his own petard, Zorilla runs from the battlefield. Zorilla eliminated. As Cape Buffalo grazed and ruminated in the Okavango Delta in Botswana, Moonrat arrived from the mangrove forests of Sumatra, Indonesia. Uninterested in the Moonrat, Cape Buffalo continues the main activities that take up 75% of his day, grazing and ruminating. But something else has noticed the Moonrat, a jackal. Unimpressed by the Moonrat's stinky defenses, Jackal snatches Moonrat in his jaws and trots away. Cape Buffalo grazes and ruminates. Moonrat eliminated. Shoutouts to the minimalist style of Wild Yak and Cape Buffalo. You gotta love the combatants that just kick back, focus on foliage, and don't get rolled by unnecessary kerfuffles.
Langer was translocated away from his family, sleeping on limestone cliffs in Vietnam to arrive along a highway in Australia. A frequent site of wildlife vehicle collisions, Tasmania's now apex predator often scavenges this highway and byways for an easy meal.
But not one to dine politely. Tasmanian devils' gustatory guffaws while carcass consuming are terrifying to the langer. The devil growls and howls even more aggressively to scare away any nearby scavengers. And it becomes the tipping point that sends Langer leaping for the gum trees and off the field of battle. Langer eliminated! Well, there you have it, folks. Polar bear, Cape buffalo, wild yak, tapir, mountain zebra, ribbon seal, narwhal, and Tasmanian devil advance to round 2. Thank you for joining us in The Rundown.
Until next time, good night and good luck. Remember, in March Mammal Madness, if you're learning, you're winning.
Yeah. Yeah, March Mammal Madness, it's going down. 65 species from all around. Thoroughs, deer, polar bear, taking the crown. Addax and ginkgo, they're battle bound. If you're learning, you're winning. What? Species battling, no one spinning. Home habitat's the first round spin, but traits take over when the league begins. Zorilla, flying snake, they're coming through. Moon rat and fern got something to prove. Tree of life, they're fighting for the throne. Who's gonna make this tournament their own?
First 3 rounds, home field's your friend. But elite trait, final roar, that's where legends end.
Number 1 seeds might fall today. Unexpected champs gonna have their say. If you're learning, you're winning. What? Species battling, no one spinning. Survival skills put to the test. March Mammal Madness, who's the best? 65 and up, but only one stage. March Mammal Madness, scientific ways.